Good night to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Once again, it is time for Talking Points. My name is Sheldon Scott. I'm here with you up until the 10 o'clock hour. We say a special good night to the listeners joining us via 91.9, 91.5, Real FM out there in beautiful St. Patrick. 94.9 out there in Brooklyn. We Noise Radio. Good night to you, Wade. Good night to the entire home circle. Good night to all the listeners via We Noise Radio out there in Brooklyn. Those of you joining us via the YouTube, via the Facebook, we say a special good night to each and every one of you. I see you all checking in.
From the poor man.
Those of you hitting me up on the WhatsApp, we say special good night to each and every one of you. Yeah, it's been quite an interesting day, hasn't it? Yes. Our guest tonight will be joining us from 8:30, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, yeah?
Grenada, 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 Grenada. Somebody wave your hands and give it.
Yes, indeed.
Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down.
Not inside there with that nonsense, no.
No, me can't sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. Me can't
We're not sitting down in there with that foolishness, no.
sit down, sit down, sit down. Me can't sit down. No, me can't sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. Me can't sit down. Do you know why? For all he has done for me, how he set my spirit free. He even dropped a bit of cup.
Y'all let me know if the volume is coming across okay. I see one complaint. Y'all let me know if the volume is coming across okay.
He took the walk for you and me. Then they nailed him to a tree. No.
Can't push it too hard inside here because yeah, it will start to distort. We're not gonna take calls until after the interview with Dr. Mitchell. Let me remind you all, we will start taking calls after we've completed the interview with Dr. Mitchell, yeah? He won't be on for the entire night with us, but we won't be able to take calls while he's on. We'll take the calls right after, yeah?
So no matter what you say about me, no matter what you do to me, see I know I have the victory, so I can't sit down. He bless the fire down in my soul, and the Holy Ghost is in control. The blood of Jesus satisfies. I give me pass and he testify. Grenada.
Keith Lynn, good night, my cousin.
Sit down,
Hope everything is okay, yeah?
no me can't sit down.
So come on, folks, let me know. I'm seeing just one person saying that they're having a problem with the volume. I just want to make sure.
Sit down.
No any problems here, yeah. Some saying low, some saying okay.
Been good to me. I gotta testify. Put up your hands and give him praise. Put up your hands and
If I push it too hard inside here, it will become distorted, yeah?
Grenada, Grenada, Grenada. Somebody get.
Alright, so quite a few people. I hope it is much better now.
I say no way. He's been too good to me. I gotta test. No matter what you say about me. No matter what you do to me. See, I know I have the victory. So I can't sit down. He bless the fire down in my soul.
Yeah, no way we sitting down and take that, yeah?
The blood of Jesus satisfies. Please give me pass, let me testify. Say me can't sit down.
Right, some folks say it's better now. Nice, good.
Put up your hands and give him praise. 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 He's been good. He's been good. Woke you up this morning. Kept you in your right mind. No, I can't sit down. I gotta testify. I make no apology. He's been good to me.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I hope it's much better right now.
Put my feet on rock to stay. I gotta testify.
Yes, we're not sitting down in there with that kind of thing, yeah?
I gotta God bless you. God bless you. I gotta go.
And folks, before we bring on Dr. Mitchell, I think it might be important for us to go through some of what took place today, yeah? I think it would be very important for us to go through some of what took place today before Dr. Mitchell joins us, yeah? And as I said, remember, no phone calls until after we've completed the interview with Dr. Mitchell, yeah? I know some of you are anxious to call because you're upset over what took place today, but we'll take the calls after we've completed the interview with Dr. Mitchell. Yeah? We will give you the opportunity to call in, but I'll be after.
Principles of godliness, wisdom and freedom. But whoa, 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 what comes safely, man? But whoa, 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 what comes quickly, yeah.
I want you all, due to today's events, I want you all to hear in context what Dr. Mitchell was saying at the point in time that he was challenged, and then we'll go over what transpired long before that, what was said and so on, right? So let's hear a bit of what Dr. Mitchell was saying. And you tell me if Dr. Mitchell is wrong in what he's saying here. Eh? You let me know. Well, what's the matter here now? Why are you doing that now? Yeah, you're always doing that to me. As soon as I'm ready to go, that that computer decides he wants to give some issues every now and again, every time I try to go live with that. Nice, right. So let's hear what Dr. Mitchell was saying, which seems to have irked, like it upset the member of Parliament for Carriacou and Petit Martinique. So let's hear what he was saying.
And I must not say anything, because this government, minute you talk, you become an enemy. Well, I would always be an enemy of nonsense. I would always be an enemy of nonsense. Some people, I get the impression, Mr. Speaker, if they don't want to be criticized, they should not be in politics. They should not be in politics if they don't want to hear anything negative. Because no human being is perfect. I got more than my fair share over the years. I took it left, right, and center, all kinds of accusation. I stood there. And I didn't hold anybody as enemy. I did not hold anybody as an enemy. Speaker, in fact, when I erred, I was the first person to admit it and correct it. So when I made a statement about doctors and nurses and the hospital, food and so on, and other persons, it was not meant and others personally, and in effect, I misspoke. I should say some workers, and that would be correct. I apologize publicly. Mr. Speaker, I ask, therefore, a member for Carriacou and Petit Martinique, we should apologize to the teachers of Carriacou and Petit Martinique for the statement made about some of them have able to fix their homes and to do their things. They have resources. When people are under traumatic problems, Mr. Speaker, we as leaders must not speak to them like that. And if we err, then the big men apologize, like I did. The little men.
MP for Carriacou and Petit Martinique, are you raising a point of order? Go ahead, MP.
I would like the leader of His Majesty's opposition leader to withdraw that statement, because I did not make any such statement about teachers.
Okay,
Mr. Speaker, I cannot withdraw what was reported publicly and no opposition. I said this is what was said and heard by people, and therefore I cannot withdraw. The member cannot take it. Then we shouldn't be here, as I said.
Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
Yes.
As part of the House,
Yes.
you must know you cannot come to the Parliament and say what was said, what you heard.
Mr. Speaker, this was done, and the report can be provided. The member cannot come here and pretend that he didn't say so.
All right, Honorable Leader of the Opposition, do you have the evidence that it was done?
It can be provided, Mr. Speaker, but don't ask me to do that now.
Okay, well,
I cannot withdraw it, Mr. Speaker, and I will not withdraw it.
I ask you to withdraw the statement.
I will not withdraw it, Mr. Speaker. You hear me? I will not withdraw it.
The honorable member indicated that he didn't say.
I said I will not withdraw it, Mr. Speaker. I will not withdraw it.
Listen, honorable member.
Mr. Speaker,
You will need to withdraw it if you want to continue your address.
I will not withdraw it. Do what you want. Throw me out. I will not withdraw it.
Honorable member, I call on you for the final time.
I will not withdraw it, Mr. Speaker. Did you hear me? For the final time. Do as you wish.
All right. Please have your seat, Honorable Leader.
Yes.
And we'll have a very brief recess. I'll come back to you.
So, folks, Dr. Mitchell made the statement in relation to these statements. Let me find it for you, because there are two sets of statements that were made by the Member of Parliament for Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Yes, two sets of statements were made. You have the following statement. Let me just pull it up for you. In relation to the teachers, yeah, that was specific to teachers and public workers and so on. So let's just get that statement first of all.
The supermarkets are open. Some of the people that are running them out the most are public officers, teachers, public officers.
So sorry, who running them out the most? Who?
Running them out the most are public officers, teachers, public officers who are receiving their salaries still running. The shop open, the supermarket open, and you're making confusion for case of water and bottle of water. The loudest people on social media are the people whose salaries are running. No, let's be real.
So again, let's hear the statement again that was made by the Member of Parliament.
The supermarkets are open. Some of the people that are running them out the most are public officers, teachers, public officers who are receiving their salaries still running. The shop open, the supermarket open, and you're making confusion for case of water and bottle of water. The loudest people on social media are the people whose salaries are running. No, let's be real.
So in other words, the teachers not supposed to be asking for anything because they have resources, according to him. They have resources and they get in water and all kind of thing. They could go and buy the water and so. But that's not the only statement that was made. He also made this statement, which is all-encompassing, inclusive of teachers. This is an all-encompassing statement. Later on, he specified teachers as one of the groups that he's speaking about who have resources and should not depend on government. So the teachers are merely a subset of the grouping that he's speaking in, because he's some of them trying to defend by using this. No. This is the whole. You understand mathematics? I've been playing with a lot of mathematics recently, yeah? Yeah, PEMDAS and BOMDAS and them, yeah. Been playing with a lot of equations recently for some reason.
Within that process, we will do what we need to do, announce more measures as it relates to the rebuilding process for private homes and so on. But as Member of Parliament, forget now me as minister, me as your Member of Parliament and me as a kayak. Let's be real. There are many of us as kayaks, many of you as kayaks who could afford to rebuild your homes. There are many people that could afford to rebuild their homes. Don't ask me, I'm telling you. And yes, you want the government to rebuild your house for you. I find that's real unfair. You could afford to rebuild your home. You have the money sitting in the bank to rebuild your house, your home, or to do your roof, and you want the government to do it for you. I mean, this is sad. I mean, wherever we hear that from, we have to do better than that. So yes, the government will do everything that it can to assist, and that is why we announce the measures as it relates to the tax-free measures.
So he can't say that he did not make the statement. And the simple thing is this. You've made statements that have upset the people of Carriacou, Petit Martinique, Grenada, and even other places, not just the teachers in Carriacou that he has upset. He's upset a lot of people by the statements he has made. And Dr. Mitchell was simply saying to him, as an elder person in politics, somebody who has won 15 seats 3 times, one time back to back, as an individual who was General Secretary of the NNP, was able to guide the New National Party to 14 seats to 1, as an individual who has spent several terms as Prime Minister, well respected, he is giving you, as a first-time parliamentarian, some much needed advice, because he didn't need to do it. He didn't need to give you the advice. But he's giving you advice that you should take. Instead of taking the advice, you're challenging him. And this was a setup, eh? I'm going to show you all a little later on how it's a setup, but this was a total setup. Yeah? But let's just hear what he had to say on another program when challenged about the statements made. When challenged about the statements made, this is what he had to say.
Now, you stressed a lot on, making sure that the folks in Carriacou and PT Martin are taken care of. Some of the teachers and public servants, they're not too happy with you right now over comments you made in the video regarding them buying their own water, because some are saying there is a number of barrels on ports filled with supplies. There's stuff still in NADMA's warehouse. You can pass by the road and you see them on the tarpaulins, etc. So they're not too pleased with the comment that you made. What's your response to that?
What comment? What comment?
In terms of the people.
The same individual I was talking just now, asking Aruna, and she's on Power 95.1, asking her what comment she just make, what comment she referring to. You know very well what comment she referring to, but anyhow.
People making noise, public workers, and that they could buy their own water because, the supermarkets, etc., and their salaries are running still. Bearing in mind,
No. I made a reference, and if no pun intended, it was not to call out anybody or to make anybody feel bad. The reality is there are people the reality is that the supermarkets are open, and there are some normality that's, businesses are operating, people are some people's salaries are running, some people could indeed afford certain things. So my call was to encourage people that could afford. You go ahead and the supermarkets are in operation, So that's what it was. It wasn't to call out the public officers and so on. As a matter of fact, we are doing a lot on our end as my ministry to try to assist our public officers in ensuring that they get back on their feet as soon as possible.
Yeah, but even though their salaries are still running, we also have to take into account that they are also affected, and they too might be looking.
Oh, certainly, and as a result of them being affected, as I said, we are. So first of all, no one is being turned away in terms of whatever assistance that is being given. That must be made abundantly clear. And second of all, assistance are.
So you have this individual who has been making these statements. Dr. Mitchell is not the only one giving you the opportunity to apologize to the people. Just be a big man. Well, can't be a big man if you're not a big man. But try and be mature. You can't be mature if you're not mature. And apologize. You've made statements. People are upset with the statements that you have made. And it's simply a matter of, hey, I said this and I apologize. If I offended you, I apologize. But he's too big and bad, he can't say that. He's too big and bad, so he can't say that. So they set up the thing now to make it look now like the opposition leader just walk out of the house and he just gone about his business. Yeah? What is wrong with the most elder statesman, the person who has spent the longest period of time? There's a reason that he spent the longest period of time in Parliament. There's a reason. He didn't just walk in the Parliament and sit down in the seat for St. George Northwest. He sat there because he understands the field of endeavor that you have now entered into as a parliamentarian. And that is why he has outlasted more than you. And if you look sharp, he's going to outlast you as well. Because he understands. So he's trying. He didn't need to try as an elder statesman, as a former multiple-time prime minister, an individual who has held different ministries over the years, respected whether you go to Europe or whether you go to South America, Central America, or North America, respected throughout the world. And he's trying to give you advice. And instead of you take the advice, you decide you're standing up and challenge. The bottom line is all you didn't want the opposition inside there. You all did not want the opposition to speak today. You all had your things set. You all know. Because the speaker had other options. He could have just allowed Dr. Mitchell to continue. But they didn't want him to continue. And they know why. Because you know why? They wanted this to become the discussion. They wanted the fact that they did what they did today. And what happened. They wanted that become the discussion. They don't want a discussion on the supplementary at all, you know. They're afraid that. They don't want you to know what has been placed in that supplementary. They don't want that at all, at all, at all. So they have done what they did today, and I'll prove to you a little later on is a total setup. Yeah? So in a short while, we'll be joined by Dr. Mitchell. Yeah? In a short while, we'll be joined by Dr. Mitchell. But meanwhile, I have a song to play for the Speaker of the House. I have a song to play for the Speaker of the House while I get to Dr. Mitchell. Alright folks, in a short while we will be making contact with Dr. Mitchell. So we're just in holding pattern, but meanwhile this one is Mr. Leo Kato, yeah.
Is that old speaker that causing that? That same speaker, it is a fact. That old speaker, it have a crack. We see that bass speaker, rat-a-tat-tat. New people walking out, people staying out. Throw that speaker out, make it hush it mouth. Listen to the song they singing. The worst speaker, the worst speaker, the worst speaker ever in this house. Who you really think you're talking to? Sit down. But I don't understand you. It's fix and fixing and one no good I throw it. More fire.
That has to be the worst speaker, yeah. Yes, indeed, folks. So, as promised, we have on the line with us Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. Good afternoon to you, Doc.
Good afternoon, Sheldon, and of course, good afternoon to all your listeners.
Yes, indeed. Quite an interesting day today, sir.
Very historic day in many sense, as it is well known that I have been in this parliament for scores of years, and I have never seen that sort of governance or management of the parliament as I've noticed at this particular time. Clearly, the lack of knowledge is prevailing. The office of the speaker is being reduced enormously. The speaker does not seem to have a clue except to take orders and instructions from the government side, not realizing the speaker is an umpire in the parliament. He doesn't understand this, and he's clearly not learning. I don't know. It is claimed that he goes on conferences, I know, where people talk about parliament, and we have parliamentary procedures being discussed around the globe in many of these conferences, but it doesn't seem that he's educating himself into the least. And then you have members on the government side who are green, arrogant, very disrespectful, and unfortunately unwilling to understand the basic tenets of the parliamentary system. And it's making very difficult for the country to watch what is taking place. After 40 years in this parliament, I have never seen the level that this parliament is. I've never seen it like this. So it was quite a day, a historic day in that sense. It does not make me feel good, and clearly it's something I think the country has to really examine how the people we elect to represent us and the people we elect to manage government as a whole must have an understanding of the importance of that role, and that is what is really frightening about what is taking place at this time. So I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Well, I mean, over the several couple of years, the things that have been done clearly demonstrate the behavior pattern of this government, and therefore I was not shocked to some sense, but I was shocked at the behavior of a person supposed to be umpiring the House procedures didn't seem to understand the basic tenets of this. That is what was most shocking for me today. Because it must be recalled that I was attempting to, at the point of discussing the issue of what's happening to the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. The people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique are going tremendous trauma. The government seem not to understand the difficulties of the citizens of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. With the rainy season on, and many of them under tarpaulin services and not having the kind of aggressive support from government, and at this time it's quite difficult for most of the citizens. So I was pointing out the need for the government to have utilized the collective wisdom of the different sectors of the country, the trade union, the opposition, like we did in 2004 after Ivan and Emily, the churches and the business community, and see how collectively we can move forward to grapple with the situation, particularly with the problem, social services in Carriacou and Petit Martinique as a whole, and to see that the rebuilding process begin more honestly. I would have thought that, and I was offering some advice, and then I mentioned the fact that the representative of Carriacou and Petit Martinique was reported to have made statements, and he came up in his own voice when we listened to the recording of telling people that some of them are waiting on government and they have the resources and they are able to do X, Y, Z. and they seem to be waiting on government to do this. Instead of providing support and showing empathy, it was an attack on the citizen. And I was advising him that when I made mistakes like this, I was quick to apologize and was offering advice more than condemning the gentleman. But he took it as immature and lacking experience, and of course the arrogance. He took it personally and stood up and he ordered the speaker to ask me to withdraw, and the speaker foolishly obeyed the member and asked me to withdraw. Withdraw what? I asked him over and over, what am I withdrawing? And he seemed unable. Just know I have power, I'm the speaker, and I tell you to withdraw, and if you don't withdraw, X, Y, Z. I say, well, you have power, you can use it. But remember, power is only good when it's used responsibly, and so on. And that was started the day. And next thing I know is that he moved to suspend me and tell me I can't say anything. Well, telling me to leave the parliament, which I did immediately. And of course, the members of the opposition decided, seeing that the leadership of the opposition had been literally thrown out and directly so followed suit. And so that's how the session ended today as far as we are concerned. But it is very unfortunate that we are at the state we are. There's so much pain outside it. There's so many problems all over the place. And we don't have the persons in government who are willing to reach out, to talk to people, to work with people. They all are into their own world, as if it's a little bingo they win and they're just enjoying it. It's not about service. And this is the kind of frightening thing that I am seeing over and over. And it's very difficult to talk to them. That's what I'm noticing over and over.
Now, Doc, seeing that you did not get the opportunity to properly address the supplemental today, nor the other members of the opposition team, where to from here? Is there going to be some activity or so where the members...
First we decided we had a brief meeting, and of course we have to talk to members of our party. We're looking at having a national rally to explain to people what has been taking place. In a general sense, we, as a political organization, we intend to do that, but we also are looking at some special programs on at least twice or 3 times a week. The opposition speaks to the people. And in addition to where we have to have public meetings throughout the length and breadth of the country from the first week in September at all constituencies throughout the length and breadth of the country. And we intend to take the case to the people of the country, because clearly in Parliament you can't speak. The minute you say something that they don't like, you see man stoops in, and who stoops in, who tell you shut up, and all kinds of stuff. And you had a member jumping up in my face when I left Parliament this morning, jumping up in front of my face, and I was trying to do an interview in a most disrespectful and almost, well, I have to say, arrogant and almost, I would say, you have to say, almost like if he was threatening physically, the way he was behaving like a little child. And I said, what? This is what our Parliament has come to? And I had to move away from the gentleman because he was just up in there weaving and getting on and all sorts of foolishness. I mean, I've never seen that sort of level, I almost call it garbage behavior of a member of Parliament who's supposed to be acting for Prime Minister on many occasions. It is unbecoming for the country at this particular time. But we intend to take the case to the people. We're going to be very aggressive going forward. We've given this government 2 years. We have not pressed them. We have spoken out on issues because they're green, and so on, and we felt it was necessary. The people asked for change. They got change, and therefore we gave them time. But what they are doing to this country, and they're reducing the image of this country in such a serious way that we have no choice to speak out. As they know, they cannot frighten me, because they should know I passed through a lot of battles in this Parliament of this country with people who had knew better. people who are capable, highly intellectual, and so on. And we stood toe to toe. And we after debates, we were able to work together as individuals, and so on, not being in different political parties. But what we're seeing today in this parliament, it makes it difficult because there's nobody to talk to. This is quite frightening.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Mitchell, one of the questions that came up among several people I spoke to for the day has to do with the questions that you've posed in Parliament.
Yes.
We did hear the first part of your presentation on the budget itself. You were speaking about the fact that the information was not forthcoming from the GDB, the fact that the GDB board has not changed in any form or format, and you're still not yet able to get that information.
And
as
they
to
put
which
in a
ministers.
parliament the same GDB and asking them to manage, and they're going to help to help to different business persons for soft loans and grants and so on, taking the CRIF money or some of it that they get, putting it in GDB, and with the same chairman on the board and many of the members. I don't know all of them, but certainly the chairman, who has enormous say and apparently close to the leadership of the country. It was a hayfair at this particular time. This is the persons that sat there and gave ministers of government millions of dollars of the taxpayers' money in GDB, and they're the ones now giving the same group of giving monies again, millions of dollars. So I made the point, because I asked a question. This is about almost 2 months. A question: how many persons, enemy ministers, got loans from GDB and how much they got and so on? And you want to tell me you don't have more than 15, 16 ministers, but I'm sure from what I understand it's about 3 or 4 of them. You mean to say GDB in 2 months can't give you that basic information? Clearly I don't believe the minister is even trying to get the answer. That is my own personal view. I may be wrong, but the impression I get is that because I asked the question, he doesn't feel he has the answer because it's a personal matter as far as he's concerned, which tells you the level of these people is quite beneath what you expect of a serious parliamentarian. I'm not afraid to say it, and I'm ready to tell them so in Parliament at any time. They will throw me out 1,000,000 times. I will do the same thing and more, as long as it's defending the rights of the people of this country and protecting the people of this country. I am prepared to do it over and over. So I don't know what is going to happen with these resources. I do not trust the present chairman, the management, the top levels of the board. I don't know all the members, but based on the decision they've made before, it's difficult for me to put any trust that the money is put at their disposal will be given to the people, the poor farmers that need it for their livelihood going forward, knowing the amount of problems that they have faced with the disasters that occurred with their farms and the problem and state of play of the Carriacou persons with their homes being destroyed and the livelihood being destroyed and the pain, the torture they're going through, and criticizing teachers and public servants in a time when these people are going through a lot of pain. The people have shown no heart. You don't believe these are politicians who expect to go back to the same people and ask for a vote in the future. You can't believe it. But that is the state of play at this particular time.
Now, you've also had several other questions there in relation specifically to the spending of we're not sure if it's 22 million, 14 million, or whatever it is, regarding the 50th anniversary of independence. You asked for it up to a particular time, and that still has not been given either.
No, as I said, the Minister of Housing did answer a few of the questions, but I got limited information, so at least he tried. But the questions that went to the Minister of Finance and so on, I get the impression when he's saying to hell with you, I'm not answering. That's the impression I got. And no answers. That I don't believe any serious attempt was made to provide the answers. That the men are taking it personal, that if I'm asking them to do something for me, it is not about me. I have no loans there. I have no interest intend to ask GDB for any loans, so it can't be about me. So this is the kind of thing that you notice. Atmosphere, it is the worst atmosphere I've seen in all my years in Parliament since 1984. I've never seen the Parliament atmosphere is as terrible as it is. The level I feel is, as I keep repeating, is what is making it so difficult going forward. We have to take the case to the people. They have to know the real parliament is the parliament with the people of the country, not inside that building in the parliament building what we have.
Now, where to from here? Now, we're going to have the meetings and other engagements and so in relation to the supplementary. So those will be coming up pretty soon, I assume.
Yes, well, don't forget the number of areas that I had to touch. For example, they have $15 million earmarked to build 200 houses in St. Mark's and Soter that were destroyed by Hurricane Beryl. And we all know that is not the case. When I questioned the member for the South, who's in fact, I don't know what ministry is running because this is MIT, but he seemed to be doing housing, he seemed to be doing roads. You don't know who is doing what portfolio is being run by who, by whom, different persons. So it's 15 million for houses for St. Mark's and St. Patrick's. The issue, my friends, we as I said, I raised it in finance and no serious explanation was given. And then the member said to me that it's going to be throughout the country. Well, I am looking to hear where these 200 houses now, as was stated in the finance document, where are they going to be building these 200 houses? And they gave a time period for the construction of these 200 houses. So we wait to see. I thought it was the emphasis would have been in Carriacou and Peter Martinique, where the damage was extensive as far as buildings are concerned and homes of people being destroyed and flattened, as we know. But it seems like that $50 million will be going towards building homes, as he said, and we wait to see for St. Mark's and St. Patrick's. I wait to see. I have no problem with the people of St. Mark's and St. Patrick's can receive serious housing units that they can help themselves, and certainly that would be a good thing. But we hope and pray we'll have to see that done, not just in one area of the country, but throughout the length and breadth of the country.
Also, Dr. Mitchell, there seem to be some serious cost overruns in relation to various projects, and we're speaking here in particular about Molyneux project. I know a couple million additional.
Yes, from what I understand, it looks like we might be running over $30 million expenditure at the Molyneux project. That's the people's money has been poorly spent. That's no doubt about it. You're hearing all kinds of stuff going on, but you're not seeing the level of management and control and the protection of the resources of the country. We are not seeing this at all, and that is the problem that we're finding out. This government has been in office now 2 years plus, and they have raised millions of dollars and selling the passports and so on. And they claim that they have a lot of money. We left them over $500 million. That's what they said. So you expect they have resources, unlike the NNP in 2013 when we came in and the treasury was completely empty, and in fact owed money all over the place. We expect to see some serious movement because they have the resources. But all you see is party, celebration, and fete. That is what we are seeing. And the people's monies are being spent randomly outside. And it is something that clearly the country's citizens must start worrying about. For example, we heard, I'll give you a case in point. It said that 95% of the house in stock in Carriacou was destroyed, and that the 95% of the cleanup work. But then we still see a $13.5 million for cleaning up of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, for cleaning up in those areas. So I still wonder, as I said today, what really is the case? You don't know. You're just seeing numbers allocated, and you don't even know whether these things are fictional or whether it's real, and what is expected to come of this. So all these are problems that we have to check on as we monitor what's taking place. But as I said, I have right now, I'm chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, so I'm going to be taken in some initiative to call for a meeting of the Public Accounts Committee and asked the Director of Audit and others to be there to find out what's the latest, because I have not received a Public Accounts auditing report yet for us to meet. So it's something that we have to deal with, so that we'll find out the state of play of the finances of the country and how monies are being spent, so we can ask different persons questions seriously going forward. So that is some of the things that we see.
We've also heard of cost overruns in relation to the Calvini Cliff project, the cliff project in that area there. We don't know. I'm hearing that it's on a standstill. I haven't been to that site for a while, so I don't know if it's on a standstill or if work is taking place. I don't know. But we recognize that in the supplemental, they're also asking for a significant amount of money in relation to that. And it's something that was in the 2024 budget. It's supposed to be budgeted for.
Yes, well, as I said, and when you ask questions, people are feeling like you have no right to ask those questions. People are getting vexed. So as if the monies are these people's monies and they don't have to account to anybody for the taxpayers' resources. So it is something that we have to pay real attention to going forward, because it's clear something ain't right, what is taking place in the finances. Almost every project, there are serious cost overrun. And all you're hearing is, it's almost some cases, I would say, Nancy stories that you're being given. So we see, for example, we saw $30 million for damaged infrastructure, roads and buildings and so on. What is the specific? We ask questions about the specific of those, but you can't get any serious information. $15 million for a building of the economy of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. What does that entail? All these things are things we should be discussing and coming to terms with in Parliament and the Finance Committee. But we are not supposed to ask any question. This is not our business. That is their business, not ours. So all these things are becoming more and more frightening. I saw $15 million for support for building the agricultural sector and the fishing sector, because we know that sector has been decimated by beryl. The north of the country, the farmers, when I drove through there a few days after beryl, you see almost all the farms sell nutmegs, cocoa, bananas, everything, and flattened. So the farmers are throughout the country in St. Andrews, St. David's, St. Mark's, St. Patrick's. They have been hit very hard, and therefore the need for action. Instead of that, you hear they're going to get some loan in September. That's 2 months since Ivan is passed. It's already 3 months. In St. Vincent, with the government of St. Vincent, people are building already. People are doing Ralphs all over the place, doing this and doing that, and bringing people together and working together, which is what we did when we had a much more massive situation facing us in 2004. We did that. So we are not going to sit down, Sheldon. We are going to take the case to these people, because we recognize we have no choice going forward.
And then there's the constant narrative that they've been pushing, that look, we are getting this done and we are getting that done, and after Ivan that wasn't being done. But you and your government set up the platform where they were able in 2 weeks to get over $100 million
$118 million in 14 days.
In 14 days. At the time of Hurricane Ivan, this didn't exist. You did not.
We had no money.
Didn't exist.
We had to go out begging everybody, and therefore it was a difficult task going forward, very difficult. And I recall, Sheldon, when we came up, we won the election in 2013, when I walked into the Treasury, the weekend, election was close to the end of the month. So when I went to the Treasury, because we have to start doing pay sheets for paying salaries at the end of the month, there was no money. And the banks, Grenada was up at the head with the government overdraft, so we couldn't get any money from them. I had to call my friends around the region, and call Trinidad specifically. Kamala Bosesa was the Prime Minister of Trinidad, and told her the situation, and we need an urgent help. And I had to go down to Trinidad just a few days after winning the election, and we were able to get Trinidad $20 million loan. That is what we used to pay salaries at the end of that month. That's how bad the situation was. So we had to rebuild the economy of the country. We had to rebuild the fiscal situation in the country and manage the country. Then people were getting work, as you know, thousands of road workers were there almost every key period of the year working. So when a celebration, a carnival out, you see people all over the street spending and doing things because they had money in their pockets. No, there's nothing like that taking place. But people are enjoying themselves. The ministers are very happy, at least some of them at least, and enjoying themselves. And they're all saying that things are so nice. It's nice for them. It's really nice for them. But for the people in the country in general, people are hurting outside them. They don't care. They don't care. I've never seen a government with so lack of empathy, lack of love, lack of care for the citizens that put them into government. They seem to have no feelings for the people of the country. In fact, they talk down to people, and they seem to behave that they are the lords of the people, not the servants of the people.
Now, Dr. Mitchell, also we have the situation. I remembered clearly on the day that you were sworn into office in 2013 at the Grenada Trade Center, that after being sworn in, the first thing you did was that you went to the back in Mr. Bido's office. You went to the back there. Mr. Dwight Venner, the late Dwight Venner, was here. Mr. Timothy Antoine and others, and you went to deal with the financial situation.
Yes.
Of the. You didn't leave you did not leave the Grenada Trade Center. You went immediately to the back to have that meeting because you did say public workers have to get paid.
Yeah, well.
So you went to assess the situation and know what's going on to deal with that.
Yes, Sheldon, after that meeting, I realized I had to call on friends outside it to get money because you can't go and tell the public servants that have all their needs and their family needs to meet at the end of the month and with their expectation. We can't tell them, well, we just won the election, we didn't know, we just come in and we don't have money. We can't tell them that. We have taken on the responsibility to govern the country, and therefore, whatever the previous government did, we can't use it as an excuse, as this government always seems to blame NNP for everything that they perceive has not gone wrong, even when they're responsible for it not going right, and so on. So we had to take the bull by the horn and move immediately and get that loan from Trinidad, and to be able to meet our basic needs for a while until we start settling down the economy of the country and meeting the basic needs of the people of the country.
Indeed. Dr. Mitchell, I know that you have to run off in about a minute and a half,
yes.
So you've got to run off. But any final words for the listeners tonight? I know many people were concerned today, especially when they took the break. Many people were concerned of what was taking place in the parliament. In fact, the now government continues to push it as though you've walked out on the people that you represent. I look at it.
Everything for them is propaganda.
Yeah.
And taking pictures, not about needs. And they seem to have spent their time in telling lies. This government, I've never seen a group of people tell lies like this. Everything is a game. Everything is a social media spinning. Everything taking pictures instead of meeting the needs of people. Clearly, if you tell me I cannot speak, I have to sit down, I can't speak, you're literally telling me I have no right in the parliament. I mean, there's another word for it. I mean, you can't tell me I can't sit down in parliament like a dummy. And what have I done? I have done nothing but try to serve the people of the country by asking basic questions and making basic statements that turn out to be absolutely correct. This young man from Carriacou, he has no behavior. Everybody knows about him. The people of Carriacou can tell stories about his behavior. He gets up and tells the speaker to ask me to withdraw a basic information that I was giving. And the speaker proceeded to listen to him. I've seen the speaker in Parliament look into the Prime Minister and taking instructions to tell us what to do. This is the order of the day. I have never seen that. And if they have to throw me out 1,000,000 times in the Parliament, they will have to do it, because it would not be business as usual going forward. I have seen parliaments all over the world, and they need to see what happened in Parliament over the world. The Speaker is telling he want absolute silence in the Parliament. You go to any Parliament and find absolute silence. You watch the British Parliament. The British Parliament, who gave us the parliamentary system we're working under. You watch a Parliament session, and you hear members laughing at each other, showing words at it. This is a Parliament. This is not a church. This is not a church environment, but this is the man. The man comes here talking this foolishness as if the Parliament belongs to him. Doesn't have a clue of the history of the Parliament of this country. So when he called me and said he wanted to talk to me, I thought he was coming to say, look, if you want to, you have evidence about this thing, because people had started playing these pieces, the video of the member for Carriacou and the things he said, with a lot more explanation, a lot more details than I gave. I thought the man called me and asked me, I want you to redraw. I said, that is what you called me at first. I said, I'm not redrawing. You think you're talking to a little boy, a little child? I am not redrawing. He still comes back after almost half an hour into the Parliament. And the first thing he said again, are you going to redraw? I said, Mr. Speaker, you look like you're hard of hearing. I am not redrawing. And you are not going to get me to redraw. And I'm smiling because I am not mad. I simply stand for some fundamental principles. And I think, and this is where we have. So the Speaker would have to change his attitude if this parliamentary procedures and meetings will go in some basic format and order, because the opposition members will not sit down like little ducks and take the foolishness that we see being meted out in the name of the Parliament of the country. We won't do this. So,
Dr. Mitchell, I was saying that I know you have to go, but I just wanted to clarify something here, because I would understand it a bit. I know that for a fact that you know it like the back of your hand. Should not the member have simply stood on a point of clarification and said, look, the member is saying I said this, I believe what I've said is this, and left it at that instead of asking for you to withdraw?
Well, I cannot tell him how to approach it. If it could have, there's a number of approaches that it could be taken. But the arrogance of these young men, he gets up and just simply tell the Speaker that what I said is not true, and he wants me to withdraw it. And the Speaker doesn't even ask a simple question. He turns and asks me to withdraw. Remember, you heard, withdraw. What? And this has happened before. This is not the first time this has happened. Anytime the members in the government ask him to do something, he asks the opposition members just what the members want, because apparently they gave him a work, and of course he feels that he has to protect his work, and I know there was a speaker before who years go by, when I asked, well, why is he doing this thing, he asked him, you want me to lose my work? So it seems like this guy is operating in the same fashion, and I am not going to hold my tongue, and he's going to get a lot more from me if he persists in that direction, because he's clueless as far as the fundamental rules of the Parliament is concerned. And that's why I got up when after he told me I cannot suspend my speaking in Parliament, so I must sit down in Parliament like a dummy.
The other thing,
speaking in Parliament, could you imagine this?
And the other thing, Doc, is procedural-wise, if he's standing on a point of order, he needs to state what the point of order is, which part.
But of course he has to. Of course he has to.
I'm standing on a point of order number so. I'm standing on a point of order. He did not do that, and the Speaker did not ask him to do that. So the Speaker is very unaware of the rules of Parliament.
He doesn't have a clue. But he clearly doesn't have a clue, and he's not interested in learning.
Is there any mechanism that the opposition can do to correct what seems to be a very serious inefficiency on the part of the Speaker? Because, I mean, even I have young folks there who've been in youth parliament that could tell you that if you're standing on a point of order, you're supposed to state what the point of order is. Due to section so and so of the rules, I'm standing on a point of order or a point of clarification or whatever it is. But he just stood up and say, well, I didn't say that, and asking for it to be withdrawn, and the Speaker just went ahead with it. totally against the rules of Parliament?
Yes, well, I don't expect to see any change. But what we have to do, as I say, take the case to the people, what is taking place in the governance of because I did mention that whole approach to the management of the country where they're spending people's money, vai all over the place. It's quite frightening, the fact that you don't have a serious project yet in the country with all its millions and hundreds of millions of dollars spent and so on. We have to take the case. And, of course, we have to stand up in the Parliament, do what we have to do. And there are times we may have to issue a motion of no confidence in the Speaker of the House. That may come up because clearly he doesn't understand his job. And if he doesn't do anything about it, we probably have no choice going forward in doing precisely this.
Is it an option as well to write to the Commonwealth to ask them for some help to maybe educate the Speaker properly, because it doesn't seem that he knows the rules, he doesn't know what he's doing, he's just looking for advice, as you say, glancing at the Prime Minister to get direction what to do?
Well, there are a number of things we can do at the right time, but we will do what we have to do. There are a number of things we can do, and all options are on the table at this particular time, and we'll do what we have to do as responsible members of the opposition.
All right. Dr. Mitchell, we'd like to thank you so very much for taking, I think my voice went down there. Yeah, we'd like to thank you so very much for taking the time to be here with us. And we know you've had quite a packed day today. We know you've had a very packed day today. And we'd like to thank you so very much for always making yourself available to speak to us on various issues.
Well, no, I appreciate this. And, of course, we hope and pray that we see some changes in the management of the Parliament of the country, and that the people interests and needs are going to be the priority, because there are two responsible sides in the Parliament of the country, the government and the opposition. It's not one side, and the government is not in charge of the Parliament. It's the Speaker, the presiding officers are the ones in charge, and we have the responsible two sides in the Parliament of the country, and therefore we must operate with greatest of respect to each other, and this is what is expected. Otherwise, the country will certainly suffer.
Yes, indeed.
So, Sheldon, thank you all for this interview, and take care.
And
Continue
thank you
to
so
do
very
the good
much,
work
Doc.
that you're doing.
Thank you so very much, Doc. You do enjoy the rest of your night.
Good, man. Take care.
Yes, indeed, folks. We have been speaking there with leader of His Majesty's Opposition, former Prime Minister, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, and he was giving us a little insight into what took place today and some of the things that have been coming up in Parliament. In fact, that GDP question has been there a couple months. You're telling me that the Minister of Finance doesn't have the ability to simply phone the management of GDP, who have a computerized system. This isn't 1972 when everything is in big books and folders written. This is the year 2024. Everything is digital, so that they can call and say, check your files and put these names against it and see if any of these names are coming up as having a loan or having had a loan since coming into office at the GDB. The mere fact that they're trying to make it seem as though that is so difficult to come by says that they're trying to hide something. They're playing for time. They're trying to hide something. But remember, data's always catch night no matter how you run it. Yeah. And folks, we're going to open the phone lines in a short while. We're going to open the phone lines in a short while. Once again, we'd like to thank Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell for being here with us tonight. Yeah?
Take a look at the horizon. Only dirtiness out there I seen. Hatred and evil in the hearts of men. Lack of manners, respect already gone. Shake it, Mitchell, boy. Samota mope moka hele. Mizena ladina, mushe Mitchell, nam nakachuye na. Shake it, Mitchell, boy. Samota mope moka hele. Mizena Sabine pushing Mitchell, no knock at 2 years now. Wonders and signs in the hands of time. Fishes dying in the ocean. Grenada, PD, Martinique and Carriacou. Disasters and problems we going through. Mr. Kit Mitchell, boy, what I hear afraid of balling. Trouble in Grenada, Mr. Mitchell. Man start killing man. Oh, yeah.
Yes, indeed. We'll open the phone lines in a short while, but let me give you all a reminder. I wonder if I'll remember this boy. Let me see what this thing is there. Yeah, I think I could play it. Let me hope that computer behaving itself there now.
Item number 14, motions.
Of the House, you are not really administering the House as you ought to.
Mr. Leader of the Opposition, I would advise you to take your seat.
Mr. Speaker,
my decision is not subject to appeal. I've ruled on the matter. It's just that you have no respect for rules and regulations.
I submit a motion to you.
Mr. Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Leader of the Opposition, please take your seat.
Mr. Speaker, with respect to you, you have to facilitate the members of the House. You're playing games. You're playing political games with the House. I played a motion on the 15th of February.
I adjourn this House for 5 minutes.
You play games, you play political games. You didn't mention of politics and all.
Yeah, that's for people who doing like like Dr. Mitchell do something wrong, and so that is how all your political leader used to behave back in the days. That the then political leader, yeah. You ain't see Dr. Mitchell behave so though, yeah. The rules were not followed. If you are standing in the House of Representatives, the Senate, on a point of order, you put on your light and you get the attention of the speaker. You don't just stand up one time. You put on your light. When you catch the eye or the attention of the speaker or the president, if it's the Senate, they acknowledge you and you say, well, you're standing on a point of order or a point of clarification according to section whatever of the the rules of the House. You're standing on that, and then you put forward what the point of order or the point of clarification you want to put forth is. That didn't take place today. The rules of the House were not followed by the Speaker of the House. He did not follow what the rules of the House are. The standing orders are clear. And he did not follow the rules of the House and what is in the standing orders. It seems as though he has to take his information from somewhere else. But he did not follow what the rules of the House state. And as I said, the phone lines are now open. 440-7377, 347-329-3101. Those are the numbers for you to call on the inside. And I'm going to ask you all a question, because I hear them, and I hear they talk about, the members of the opposition have walked out on the people that they represent. No. They have defended the integrity of the people that they represent, because if you disrespect them in the House, you're disrespecting every person that voted for them. So if they stay there and allow themselves to be disrespected, they are allowing the people who are out there who have voted and supported them and placed them in the parliament, they are allowing those people to be disrespected. Those people who got up on election morning and made a conscious decision that this is who is going to represent them. If they allow themselves to be disrespected, they are allowing those people to be disrespected. So Dr. Mitchell, Honorable Clarice Modest, Honorable Kate Skeeter, Louis Peters, Honorable Peter David, they did not allow the people that voted for them to be disrespected today. All right, we have a caller who is on the line. Let me see. I think, let's go to the phone line. Hello, good night. Hello, good night.
Hello, good night.
Hi, good night, my dear. Go right ahead.
Good night, good night. I want the Speaker of the House to know that Galatians 6:7 say, what a man sow, they're going to reap. And to make a good bed for his children to lie on. Because what a man sow, he's going to reap.
All right. Thank you so very much, my dear. All right. Yes, indeed. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. Now tell me, I want you all to tell me something. I'm going to play something for you all. And I want you to tell me if any sensible person should sit down in Parliament and listen to this sort of nonsense. Serious, if I was in Parliament, I'm walking out, I'd go and take a breeze.
My substantive intervention in this honorable house is the issue of the CRIF facility. If my memory serves me right, Mr. Speaker, this facility was launched in 2015, and it was as a result of quite a number of different natural disasters that occurred in the region and elsewhere. It took our country 8 years. Mind you, we were faced with Hurricane Ivan, a Category 3, 2004. We were also faced with a Category 1, I believe, Hurricane Emily, 2005. And it took the government then, not this numbers, not our beloved Prime Minister now, not the former one before who represented the same institution that we come from, but it took that opposition 8 years to join a facility. So when they go out and they try to make it seem as though, thank God for that administration during that time to join that facility, we want to know what were the reasons. Having gone through such a devastating hurricane in 2004, what were the reasons? Why did it take you so long to join the facility? So don't try to make this a political issue. Don't try to make this seem as though to beat your chest and to boast about something, Mr. Speaker. But we're not going there, but I just wanted to place that on the record. Took them 8 years. My substantive intervention in this honorable house is the issue of the CRIF facility. If my memory serves me right, Mr. Speaker, this facility was launched in 2015, and it was as a result of quite a number of different natural disasters that occurred in the region and elsewhere. It took our country 8 years. Mind you, we were faced with Hurricane Ivan, a Category 3, 2004. We were also faced with a Category 1, I believe, Hurricane Emily, 2005. And it took the government then, not this numbers, not our beloved Prime Minister now, not the former one before who represented the same institution that we come from, but it took that opposition 8 years to join a facility. So when they go out and they try to make it seem as though, thank God for that administration during that time to join that facility, we want to know what were the reasons. Having gone through such a devastating hurricane in 2004, what were the reasons? Why did it take you so long to join the facility? So don't try to make this a political issue. Don't try to make this seem as though to beat your chest and to boast about something, Mr. Speaker. But we're not going there, but I just wanted to place that on the record. Took them 8 years.
All you ever hear a higher amount of dotted, foolish stupidness in the shortest space of time? Really and truly? That is the most amount of convoluted, absolute nonsense that I have ever heard out of the mouth of a parliamentarian. The people of St. John, no, hold on the phone calls. The people of St. John must be extremely embarrassed for the stupidity that was just spewed by this individual. Number one, let me just clarify piece by piece here. CRIF came about in 2007, not 2015. Let me repeat. CRIF, the insurance, came about in 2007, not 2015. The government of Grenada was among the first, if not the first, to join CRIF. When they came to hand over the check, idiot, they told the Grenadian people that. They said to the Grenadian people, hold on the phone calls. They said that, and I could understand why the opposition side, they can't sit alongside there and say, and look, number 2, I mean, well, they really like number 2. But number 10, sit down there like a big dodoi and wouldn't pull the girl jacket and say, hey, you're talking stupidness? It took 8 years. If it took 8 years from 2004 for them to be able to get into CRIF, which government was in office 8 years after Hurricane Ivan? It wasn't the New National Party. Hurricane Ivan was in the year 2004. The New National Party went out of office in 2008. They returned to office in 2013. And by that time, Grenada had been in CRIF for the longest time because CRIF was created because of Hurricane Ivan. So, idiot, Grenada could not be in CRIF when Ivan hit because it had no CRIF, you fool. And the other idiots around you, nobody wouldn't pull your jacket and say, girl, hush day. Stupidity. Damn idiot. Dr. Mitchell, I hope you ain't listening because I know, oh God. Dr. Mitchell, go pull up the headphones. No, don't. You can't listen to this kind of nonsense because you can't make this stupidness up. 8 years after Hurricane Ivan, was the Tillman Thomas administration in office, not the New National Party? And by that point in time, by the time government changed, Grenada was already part of CRIF for 1 year. CRIF had been created because of the damage that Ivan created throughout the Caribbean. I mean, we understand you were 6 years old when Hurricane Ivan passed, so you can't come to tell us about Hurricane Ivan. We can tell you about Hurricane Ivan. This is the most full of nonsense dunce state. Best you to sit down. Serious. Best that idiot had sit down. Because I never hear more stupidness. You come to clarify CRIF. What you know about CRIF? You standing on point and to come and tell people, girl, hush your mouth. Seriously. I mean, I don't like to behave like that. But oh gosh, man. This is absolute not. You expect sensible, intelligent people like those members on the opposition side to sit in parliament and listen to that foolishness? She was 6 years old when Ivan passed. She don't know nothing about Ivan. Even worse, she don't know nothing about CRIF. The CRIF people came. They came to Grenada. They spoke about CRIF. They told us about CRIF. They hand over a check. You ain't even say, well, let me go and check with the GIS and find out. You ain't even say, let me find out from my people before I go in parliament and make a damn fool of myself. But where they find she? Really and truly, where they find her?
Just to remind you, CRIF was established in the year 2007 following Hurricane Ivan in the year 2007, and I know Grenadians...
When, sir? It was created when? Let me hear you, sir, because there's the person in charge of CRIF, eh? Right, okay.
Was established in the year 2007 following Hurricane Ivan in the year 2007, and I know Grenadians will not forget Ivan, given the devastation that that particular tropical cyclone caused on your country. But it did affect or impact other countries, such as the Cayman Islands. And you recall that single hurricane event accounted for losses and damage of over 200% of GDP in Grenada, as well as in the Cayman Islands, and other countries such as Jamaica and others would have been impacted, as well as Haiti, to the extent that that single hurricane event going through the Caribbean accounted for losses of over $6 billion.
Well, wait, sir, but she's saying that we should have been part of CRIF when the hurricane hit. Because apparently she didn't hear when you said that CRIF was created because of the hurricane. Dr. Mitchell was one of the people that brainstormed to come up with that idea to have insurance that all the countries can contribute in so that if something happened, apparently she didn't know that. The people wanted me not to play she clipper again. Okay, but anyway, let me finish here what you're saying.
But as I did indicate, Grenada was obviously the most impacted. And when the heads of government recognized, and of course other persons recognized the severity of this single event, I think they recognized the importance of starting to plan for such disasters from a financial perspective. And so the heads of government enlisted the assistance of the World Bank and with other international partners such as the donors, came to establish what was then known as the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility. Incidentally, we are commemorating 20 years since Hurricane Ivan. Of course, not to celebrate Hurricane Ivan, of course, but to commemorate and to recognize a lot of the great actions that came as a result of Hurricane Ivan, including the establishment of CRIF SPC.
What? You're saying that CRIF was established because of Hurricane Ivan? Well, apparently you need to tell the MP for St. John that, because she say it took us 8 years after Hurricane Ivan to join it. I don't know where this stupidity get this idea from. But anyway, hold on. Let me just take it back a bit there. We want to hear you. We ain't want to misquote the person who in charge of CRIF, right? Nice.
We are commemorating 20 years since Hurricane Ivan. Of course, not to celebrate Hurricane Ivan, of course, but to commemorate and to recognize a lot of the great actions that came as a result of Hurricane Ivan, including the establishment of CRIF SPC. In fact, I would go on to say that this is probably maybe the catalyst that led government to start taking disaster risk financing seriously.
So Ivan and the billions of dollars that was lost in the Cayman Islands, Jamaica and Grenada and so on, that is what caused people to take disaster risk management seriously and form CRIF? Or the MP doesn't know that somebody give her a call. One of all you listening to this program, or a couple of all you, well, have her number. Call her and tell her tune in. She will get educated on something she knows nothing about. And one thing I've learned in life, ever since I was a little boy, don't go try playing expert on things you know nothing about. If you don't know, say you don't know, you're going and ask questions. Anybody who knows me know that is how I does operate. I do not know, let me find out. I ain't going and tell you thing. I do not know, let me find out. You idiot. Anyway, let me finish here. You on CRIF?
Was born out of Hurricane Ivan. And because of the impact on Grenada in particular, we would say that Grenada essentially is the poster child for CRIF. But what really is parametric insurance? And it's very important to understand that.
Yeah, we go get the parametric insurance otherwise and all kind of thing. And I tell you, she's saying this thing, and she talking, and people, I mean, come on. 2 members sit down right next to her when she's saying this foolishness. Where is it? What do you think? Go? Right. 2 members sitting right next to her when she's saying this foolishness. There are 2 people sitting right next to her when she's spewing this garbage. And she replay about 4 times. She's talking about 8 years. But then again, you have to really watch. And I just pulling it up. I ain't playing the audio. But you just have to watch. Who is the 2 people that you're seeing on camera here? This Dodoi, yeah, down in the corner here. You see where I play with the mouse there? That Dodoi, down there, yes. The MP for St. George Northeast. He was how old? Yeah. He was 12 years old when Hurricane Ivan passed, so he really know nothing about that. And then number 10, them here nothing to say. Them look like they were sleeping there and all kind of thing. They know better, and they would not tell them better. They just, I don't know, maybe they want to get rid of them. Maybe they want their position or something. You know, that's how they does operate. Yeah? But then again, you can't expect the member for St. George Northeast to say any better. Because remember, that fool, yeah, that stupidity, the 2 of them who don't know nothing about CRIF and playing this expert. You see, there's a certain thing that happens to some people when they get a little bit of power. When they get a little bit of power, they believe all of a sudden they are experts in every field. So if you come to them and you say, I have a pain on my left side, they're giving you a medical diagnosis, you know, because they're the MP. You come to them with an engineering problem. They have nothing to do with engineering. But all of a sudden, they're experts in that field. There are some people that the power does go to up here, the cabeza, and they does lose it. So they does become experts in all fields. So remember, the MP for St. George Northeast, he ain't much better.
I see, whether it's this administration, any administration, prop up themselves as they were the person or the one or the party, because I don't believe it's a party thing. It's about Grenada. Government is about the people pay their taxes, so the government represent the people. So I'm always very taken aback when you have political party try to take, they try to benefit themselves by claiming that they did such and they did such and they did such.
No, it's not the time for that.
No, it's not the time, and that's what I'm saying. So let's talk about shifting the 240 million. People want to take, get gratification for doing that. What's the understanding of that? Because there's a lot of different flurry of ideas going around.
Right.
That became a part of that insurance.
So all right. Let's accept the fact that this had to be done post Hurricane Ivan. Right? And even then, Hurricane Emily affected Grenada. I didn't hear any payout by CRIF.
Of course you didn't hear any payout by CRIF then, you idiot. CRIF didn't exist for 2 years until 2 years after that, you idiot.
Subsequently, which was the year in 2005. Whether it happened or not.
And the fool who question you, he has dunce as you because he can't even tell you that you're wrong. He even researched the topic that he coming to speak to you about. He just sit down there and let you talk foolishness and look like an idiot. Watch, I feel like losing brain cells listening to these people. But let me just finish and then I'll move to the phone lines.
I stand to be corrected, but I didn't hear any payout. And as I mentioned, we had Tropical Storm Felix. I didn't hear any payout. We had the threat of Hurricane Thomas. I think it did pass to the north of Grenada, but by and large, we were not directly impacted during 2010. And there were other hurricanes and even just by way of storm surge and so on, which passed.
Full storm surge was in the year 1999, November of 1999. Ivan didn't even pass yet. When storm surge passed. That was the year 90. We wasn't even the 2000s yet. That was November 1999. That was the 1900s way of telling Grenada bye-bye. When Tropical Storm Lenny, also called Wrong Way Lenny, passed by, and you had that storm surge that affected the western side of the island, damaging parts of Guave and all in Grand Mall and all those areas there got damaged on the south side of the island. That was 1999, you mook. They did not have CRIF until 2007. I don't know where to find these idiots.
And I never heard any payout. No.
Anyway, watch, enough of them. Time to go to the phone lines. Yeah, let's call now. Let's go to the phone lines. Hello, good night. Hello, good night.
Hello, good night, Sheldon.
Hey, how you doing, my brother?
I never thought I would listen to your program and lose brain cells. I always look towards the program for some edification, and the Right Honorable Dr. Keith Mitchell, former Prime Minister, was so edifying, and he had sharing some light as to what happened today, what transpired in our Parliament, and calling out the incompetency of the Speaker, of the House, and the other members, and then to listen to, I don't even know if I should say honorable members, but to listen to the members from St. John's and from St. George Northeast, it's unbelievable. But I still blame you because you was touting your maths. If the young lady says that it started in 2015, that's when it came about, and we didn't take it for 8 years after, that means we took it in 2023. Imagine that. She's saying that we last year, when the gentleman clearly stated Grenada was, the poster child for this whole CRIF thing because it started in 2007, and immediately we joined. So it makes you wonder, the bigger picture. Look, we could laugh about it, and, so I feel it for the people of St. Northeast. I feel it for the people of Guave with actually with their representation. But more importantly, that member from St. John, isn't she in charge of
my brother, for some reason your voice is breaking up bad. I'm not sure why.
Which are you hearing me better now?
Yeah, I just had to sap my head there to try and see if I could get back some brain cells. I'm trying to sap.
Maybe you should tap mine too so I could get back some brain cells.
I'm trying to see if I could get back some brain cells there. But go ahead.
Are you hearing me better now?
Much better now, yeah. Go ahead.
Right. No, but I was trying to make the point that, how does these people represent us on the international stage, on the regional and international stage? It makes you wonder.
I'm afraid this is a person that went out over 24 times representing Grenada, and this is the
But
foolishness they're talking
doing
about.
what? If you're talking garbage, if you're talking garbage and you're spewing garbage for things that you should know firsthand, and you're speaking garbage, right? And you're going on an international stage. What are you speaking on the international stage? I mean, I know when people travel, like in my former job, and persons were coming in for a conference, you would scope them out before, to use layman's term, right? You would do a workup on them, and so you can tell what's their favorite food, what they like, what's their thoughts, who they support, who they don't support, what flaws they have in terms of, do they have a gambling problem, do they have... And I would have to reach out to some of my colleagues to get some of the reports that they do on some of these ministers here, because it would be interesting. I could see the guys having fun and laughing about the incompetence, because you know, when you do the up research on them, and it's like how you putting a dossier together on them. I mean, you go to social media. You have an MP doing lives, degrading the people that he's supposed to be representing. You have these idiots in the parliament. The parliament cannot even articulate something that it falls under your domain. It falls under your ministry. Just last week, or a couple months ago, this hurricane was the first. 14 years later, the gentleman was here giving us the history about Cref and Grenada, and now you go to the parliament less than 2 months later and talking about something started in 2015, and 8 years later we joined.
Let me make another point there on something that you've just made a point on, and you kind of gloss it over. This is the minister with responsibility for climate change, which is directly related to Cref, and this minister doesn't even know when Cref started, and she's going out all over the world, jumping plane, first class, going and eat shrimp cocktail and drink champagne to represent Grenada. Speaking about things like Cref, this is the same person going out, you know.
It's scary, Sheldon. It's scary. I'm scared for our representation on the regional and international scale.
Imagine.
Listen, I know you have a lot of call. I just want to say I thank Dr. Mitchell for the wealth of information, and that he put out for us tonight. I stand resolute with him, because I know he has this country's best guidance at heart, and I know that he will continue to guide us. And I mean, it's yes, and as members of the New National Party, but I know he doesn't see it as a party thing. He sees it as a country thing, and he's a true leader for the country. And I know he will continue, you know, whether he is or he's not, he will continue to pass that knowledge on to those of us that are willing to learn. The key thing is those that are willing to learn. So I just want to say thank you, Dr. Mitchell, and we know that you are the capable leader, and you have showed it time and time again, and you will continue, even if it's by edifying those of us that are willing to partake in that knowledge that you possess.
Thank you so very much, my brother.
Thank you.
All right. And folks, when I said a bit earlier, no, we're moving off. Imagine, before I move off of that, imagine we move from Simon Steele, who is now in charge of climate change and so on for the world. Simon Steele, we move from that, from him, to, oh God. 440-7377, 347-329-3101. Yes, you can call right now. But remember I said earlier this thing was a setup, and let me explain what I'm talking about with that. Now, I am sure many of you have seen this particular video, and I'm going to come back just now. Phone lines thing, yeah, we're trying to think. And remember, I didn't really dive into the supplemental yet, but take a look at the footage that you're seeing there. And you all would recognize that footage is totally different from the footage that was being streamed by GBN, totally different from the footage that was being streamed by GIS, totally different from all the official sources of information, totally different. What we're seeing there is footage that was actually taped by somebody else. Yeah? So you realize, yes, it's swinging from Mr. Speaker to Dr. Mitchell, and so it's obviously someone who was strategically placed to the other side of the opposition because the government side knew what they was going to do. They knew what they were going to do today to try and get rid of the opposition. They knew what they were going to do. So they make sure that they had their cameras set up, because you don't see this sort of thing on any footage from Parliament, do you? Yeah? You don't ever see this sort of footage. But how come all of a sudden, and specifically for this, they had a cameraman right on point to get the footage? Yeah? How come today they specifically had that? Yeah? That a cameraman right on point to get the footage today. But let me show you all something as well. And where is it? Yes, here you are. Let me just show you all something additional to that. And again, I'm not going to play the audio, but I just want you all to pay attention to what is taking place. Well, no, not on this one, but I want you all to pay attention to what is taking place here. Now, this is the footage from Parliament. This is the Parliament footage itself that I'm going to be pulling up here with Dr. Mitchell speaking, and you see Dr. Mitchell is speaking there. And when they move off from him a bit, just let me see if I can just go down a bit to when they move off of him, and you'll recognize something. And here it is. You'd recognize that they have strategically placed their cameraman up here. You see where I'm moving the mouse? They've strategically placed their cameraman up here. And he is using his mobile phone to tape the interaction between Dr. Mitchell and the Speaker of the House. These people knew very well that at some point they were going to do something that the opposition would not stand for today. They knew what they were doing, and they strategically placed the cameraman. Look, he have a long lens camera there with him. He has his long lens camera there with him. And as far as I know, your phone is supposed to be off when you're in the Parliament chamber, but it seems as, well, they're following rules and regulation. But even if you're the cameraman, you should have your camera, but your phone's supposed to be off when you're in the Parliament chamber. But obviously, and from the type of footage, that seems to be an iPhone or a high-end Samsung or so that he's using. They have the thing set up. Now, he's not there to capture both sides because he has the opportunity. He can be down on the ground and he could be moving around to get what footage he has to get. But they know what they set up. They know what they set up. So they had their cameraman well placed opposite to Dr. Mitchell and the New National Party side to capture when they do what they do. Because you had recognized that less than an hour later, they already had their thing sharing. So you telling me all of these people on that side, the government side who like camera and things so much, none of them wanted to be featured today when they were giving their, I mean, when you're talking shippiness as Kirin, you don't want to be featured. Dotish. Yeah, you don't want to be featured. But they set up their thing. Understand what take place there is not a simple thing. These people do not want you to know what is in the supplemental. And we're going to go deep into that supplemental tomorrow because, for instance, that $15 million that Dr. Mitchell spoke about, they've placed $15 million in the budget, and that $15 million is supposed to provide 200 houses to St. Mark and St. Patrick. Well, I don't know where they find it. Even if they say 100 to St. Mark, I don't know what is the 100 houses they're going to find in St. Mark that was destroyed by Beryl. Then, each of those houses, they say, is going to cost $50,000, inclusive of equipment, inclusive of labor, and inclusive of building materials. So I don't know what house they're going and build for that. But they say each of the houses is going to cost $50,000. And like they don't trust or like the Minister of Housing. So they put the $15 million not under the Ministry of Housing. They take the $15 million and they place it under the MIT Ministry. They put it in handy hand. Yeah, handy. They place it in handy hand. So I don't know how come the Ministry of Housing is incapable of doing that. I would think that they have a list of contractors that they work with, either through the Housing Authority, etc. And then if you say 50,000, and that is inclusive of clearing the land and so on, because you say equipment, so the backhoe and so to clear the land and everything and fix up the area and whatever equipment, the ransom and so you might have to rent and so. The materials and the labor for $50,000 per house. Speak to a contractor and see what they tell you about that. Let watch. I don't talk. Let me take the phone lines for the rest of the show tonight, man. Yeah. Let's go back to the phone line. Let's go. Let me see. Yeah, somebody on the overseas line. Hello, good night.
Hey, good night.
Good night, caller. Go right ahead. You're live.
All right, let me turn my volume down.
Yeah.
You know, that's a blessing this guy what happened there. You know, because long I've been advocating for the opposition to get on the road. And I like what the Prime Minister said. It's time to get on the road. We need to take this to the people. Okay? We need to take that that initiative to the people. These guys knew what they was doing all the while. This wasn't by accident. This supplemental bill was accepted since on the since yesterday. So it's only a smoke screen. The main thing that they have the 10 sides. They have 10, and we have 5. The 2/3 majority. No matter what the NNP does, they have the 10. Hello?
Yes, I'm listening. You, my brother.
Yes, they have the 10. So, I mean, all this thing, and I called yesterday, we had a surplus. I mean, they don't care about agriculture because the CDI program is making more money than nutmeg and cocoa. It's making more money in the CDI program. And they have all the cronies with their own private offices. This government don't go in power for re-election. They don't care about going back next term. They're going to fool their pockets now. Can't you see that? Can Grenada see that? This is a one-term government. They just want to get as much money as they could get right now. Thank you.
All right, my brother. Thank you. Yes, indeed. 440-7377. Let's see. I think somebody was trying to reach me there. Yeah, let me see if I could get that caller on the line. Hello, good night.
Hey, good night, Sheldon. How are you doing?
Hey, quite fine. Go right ahead.
Yeah, Sheldon. What I noticed also today is that the Minister of Health, he finally reappeared, Minister Telford. And what I was watching with that, Mr. Telford being the leader of government business, he laid out, he gives his updates and stuff like that. And then the Minister of Finance spoke, and then Dr. Mitchell spoke. Nowhere before that, anybody else like Tevin spoke. So I was trying to figure out what was Mr. Tevin getting up on a point of order for, because what Dr. Mitchell was delivering was his deliberations and asking questions. And then they hit the table knock. Tevin get up. He addressed the speaker, which was around. His mic wasn't on. He even addressed Dr. Mitchell as Her Majesty's opposition. All these things were going on, right? And then you heard the Minister, James, then you heard Mr. Cornwall. And they were saying things of hearsay also. They were using the word hearsay because Mr. Cornwall saying that he hearing people on social media and radio personalities saying, putting propaganda about the government saying this and saying that. And the Speaker of the House didn't stop him, right? And then they went to the Prime Minister now. The Prime Minister was sharing the sentiments that, the government, the opposition members didn't vote, some didn't vote for the gun amnesty, and some walk out and some abstain. And he's making a point, there's a pattern. But then he said, no, that will continue happening and so forth and so forth. Like these men expect that to happen because they know what they're doing. Exactly what I said, Sheldon, is exactly what I saw happen this morning. And you know, something that the Prime Minister said again that somebody missed, that I missed. Well, I didn't miss it, but I feel somebody missed it. He said he's going to Guyana for 1 year to tell the president of Guyana, thank you for the help that he gave us during the burial time. So you have to travel to Guyana for 1 day to tell somebody thanks? Is that normal, Sheldon? The man said traveling to Guyana for 1 day to tell a man thanks him. Why we good in this country? Shall I have a good night?
He don't know about Zoom. Anyhow. All right, partner.
Boy, watch, but he's not good, boy. Yeah, boy. Yeah.
All right. That's it. Yes, indeed. 440-737. So I'm trying to share the thing a little bit. So when I take one of the WhatsApp, I try to take one of the overseas and try to take one of the local line. I'm trying to share it. Because I did say tonight I'm not talking, but I will give people the opportunity to call after. But no, we had to show that thing. I had to show some of those things. I had to show them tonight. Because I'm telling you, yeah, I'm telling you, look, they had the cameraman set up. Looky up there. Looky up there. The cameraman was set up and waiting. Yeah? So the cameraman was there and waiting. Watch him and you go realize Dr. Mitchell talk, the speaker talk, he moving the phone from one to the other. Yeah? He moving from one to the other when they're speaking, and so they well set up the thing. Any other house, they would have said, no, you cannot come in there with any phone. You cannot come inside there with a phone and that kind of thing. Yeah, but anything goes with these guys and them. We have a call online. Hello, good night.
Hi, good night, Sheldon. What's up?
Hey, quite fine. Go right ahead.
Great. Now, regarding the houses they said they're going to do for $50,000, right? Then how come they take the Chinese houses, which was for low much income, and sell it at a higher rate than the one they're quoting for now?
Them alone could say, brother.
No, this needs to be explained because they're putting out this. We need an explanation. Therefore, then the houses which was given by the Chinese government of Grenada free, of course, then these houses' prices should and have to be reduced.
Well, they say the cost per house for these houses that they say they're going and build the 200. And remember, right? They've placed $15 million in the MP for South Hand in his ministry. They placed $15 million in his hand now to build these 200 houses, right? At $50,000 each. And remember, the $50,000 is not just the material. Again, that is for the clearing of the land and whatever other equipment they need to use, like I mentioned the ransom and all these things, and them to mix the concrete, all of these things that they're going to need. That is also for the labor, the people who actually have to work on the house, and that is for the materials to build the house. Look, somebody just send and say, their brother have a small wooden house and it cost them over $75,000 to build. Okay. I've spoken to people in the industry and they ask me if it's a bathroom and toilet, these people go in and build for that kind of price.
No, that is the question I'm trying to ask now, my brother. Because you see, today's cost you put in, it's just not, believable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then what you are giving free, you are selling it at a more higher cost. Then you have to ask the question, how come what you're doing is a cheaper cost and what you got out some outside is free and you selling it for more money?
Mm-hmm. Well,
Something is wrong.
Let's see how that turns out, my brother.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so very much. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on to the inside. Yeah? That cameraman is the same cameraman who everywhere the Prime Minister flying now, he just carry cameraman with him. So he carry the cameraman with him everywhere he going right now. Up to now, we need to find out if this is being paid for by the state of Grenada or the Prime Minister himself. Because we don't know anything about official photographer to the Prime Minister. Not to the government, it seems to be to the Prime Minister. Because everywhere the Prime Minister go, like Jay-Z and Beyonce or Rihanna, he has to go with his own press kit to follow him wherever he's going. All right, we have a caller online. Hello, good night.
Good night, sir. It's just very short. What I wanted to find out, I just reached, but based on the last caller, I wanted to find out if that's the real cost of the houses, then this is construction, right? No.
You're a bit muffled there, my brother. I don't know if anytime you use a device to speak, it will muffle it.
There's something wrong with my phone, I feel.
Oh, okay, but go ahead. Go ahead.
What I wanted to find out is, didn't they say the cost go up by so much and so much when Victoria Park was being renovated? and it was almost doubled more than the original cost. So I'm just trying to find out the logic. Thank you.
All right, my brother. Yeah, $50,000. Remember, this is the same government. These are the things they don't want you to know. We'll go more in depth in these things tomorrow night. They don't want you to know that they are taking $2 million of your money, your dollars, to spend on YouTube. Yeah, that's part of the supplementary budget. They are asking for $2 million to spend on YouTube. But hear what? It goes back to something I was mentioning before. Remember, I was speaking about all the vloggers and bloggers that were brought into the country during the carnival season. 24 of them. These content creators. Now, government has put in place $2 million for them to go now through the tourism authority, that they are going to be spending this money on these content creators. $2 million of your dollars to spend on these content creators. Now they say local content creators, the 24 content creators that they are spending this kind of money on are not Grenadians. They are people from overseas. That is part of the supplementary budget. They want you to think about Dr. Mitchell, but they don't want you to know that they are spending $2 million of your money on YouTube. The same YouTube that many of you, over 1,000 of you looking at me tonight, over 1,000 of you that on YouTube right now watching. Yes, this same YouTube, the government is going to be spending well, I wonder if they will give us a share inside here, because we are the largest YouTube channel on the island. There's nobody that has a bigger YouTube channel than Talking Points in this country. So I wonder if they will give us a share in that. They ain't contact us, Grenada Tourism Authority. We there, you know. We ain't hear from all you. Because you all said local people. But we see for the carnival, not the carnival time, we see for the carnival time, you all brought in 24 of these YouTubers. And it's not, they're saying YouTube. But remember, a lot of these people are TikTokers. They're on Instagram. They're on Facebook. They do the Facebook Reels and all this thing. But they're saying for YouTube specifically and local content creators. So let me say, I won't call her name tonight and I hope she don't vex. Kay Perez. Kay Perez. There's a lady from up in St. Mark. She does excellent work on her own, showcasing various parts of Grenada. Sometimes she walk in, sometimes she coming down on a bus, and she just uses her mobile device and she does some excellent work. I hope that part of that $2 million that all you're spending going to people like she. And if it's not going to people like she, all you go have a problem. Because they pass it today, so the money is there now. And that's going through the creative, the same ministry, the same new department they create that don't have no office. But we don't know if it have an office now, because the last time we heard, people were going to the office that didn't exist. So we don't know if they have an office now. Because all the people that were working under the creative arts section were working from home. And we have them on tape admitting and saying that. So they can't say we lie. If it's one thing, they can't come and say that we just lie on this program. What we're saying is the truth. And we could back up everything we say. $2 million that these people spending on YouTube. Just on YouTube, these content creators. But remember, these are the same content creators who have now made their connections with Grenadians through the algorithm that exists. And the algorithm is basically the computation that exists that connects people. If I am traveling on a bus with you, and I have Facebook and you have Facebook and you're on Facebook at the same time that I'm on Facebook on that bus, Facebook actually recognizes that that person is on the bus with me. And within the next couple of weeks, you're going to see that person come up as a possible friend, especially if you spend an extended amount of time around that person. You've ever noticed, sometimes you meet a person somewhere for the first time and you talk with them for a while extensively, and then they pop up in your Facebook suggestions? That's the algorithm at work. They geolocate you. This person is here and they're spending a lot of time close to this person. So let me suggest that person as a friend to them, because they might be looking for that person again. Here they are, and they put them as a friend to you. What they are doing, the bloggers and so on that they brought into Grenada are the same ones they're going to be using for election campaign, just like they utilize stocks. So when you see they put $2 million and they say it's to advertise Grenada, no, it's to try and keep them in power. Let them tell me I lie. Folks, that's all the time we have for tonight for Talking Points. It's now 10 o'clock. I know we could go for another hour again. But we'll be back tomorrow night and we'll be going in depth in relation to the supplemental. It have a lot of other things there that they don't want you all to know. Somebody say play the one for the speaker as we go in. Yes, we're going to play it for him. Folks, I am out of here in whatever you say and do it safe and secure. Want to be speaking to and with you and not about you. Love each and every one of you. My name is Sheldon Scott. I am out.